you have a way that you orientate to the world. Okay, and you have two different structures really that's at play, and I see this a lot. So in creation, there's a lot of focus on the identity, trying to fix this yourself or think that it's about you. And one of the challenges I have is this identity versus ideal structure that creates oscillation. And it's a really big problem. And it's actually why you need a coach. Well, and what I mean by that is you need someone to get you into a different structure and hold you there. So let me talk about this so that you truly get it. There is a belief that you need to fix yourself or improve yourself in order to have what you want. And I call this the beliefs business. And the beliefs business says, you got an identity, and your identity decides that if it has this type of life, life will be better. And so by saying that, the identity actually admits that life right now is not enough. Okay. And this is the big structure that I notice. All right. I see it in society. So the now is not as good as the future. So what the decision happens is we go, well, I'm going to go towards something different. Okay. This is the structure. I want you to get it. I'm going to go towards something different. And as I go towards something different, what I find is that I have to let my identity die to have it. See, what I mean by that is if you've lived in frustration your whole life, right? Or if you've lived in scarcity, or if you're like me and you grew up working class, right? So you grew up working class. You're that identity and you say, you know what? I want to have freedom. I want to have abundance. This identity is in conflict with this identity. Does that make sense? So as you move from frustrated scarcity towards abundance and free and rich, the identity wants to die. It has to die in order to get there, but it won't. So you've got this really weird conflict, okay? And this structure creates oscillation. And here's how it goes. It goes, okay, the now is not enough. The future will be better. And it doesn't matter which one you say. You might say the future will be better, right? It'll be better if I lost weight. It'll be better if I had more money. It'll be better. That's basically the same thing as saying that having the weight to my body is not good enough. My current life is not good enough. Okay, so that's how it starts. Then as you move towards this, so you start going here, you take the right action, something pulls on you and says, but this isn't like you. You can't have this. You're not good enough. What's that's pulling on you? Well, it's actually your old identity that's still back here. Does this make sense? The old identity doesn't want to die. It spent its whole life being not good enough. So if you were actually to lose the weight, make the money, have the relationship, you've coded up that would be good enough, which is a direct conflict with your identity. So what happens is people start moving towards it. Then they think, well, they get scared, they procrastinate, they make bad decisions, and then they decide, well, maybe this isn't right for me. Maybe I need to work on myself. Maybe this isn't the best opportunity. Maybe it's not the right partner. Maybe I should get a divorce. Maybe I should break up. Maybe I need a different diet. So they change and they come back to here. And it feels a little bit good. And they oscillate in this pattern. They just oscillate from having the reality that's not enough, going towards a reality that is enough. As they get close to it, their old identity says, wait, we don't want to die, and pulls it back. Give me a yes if you've seen this in your life or in lives of others. You go like this. And so what happens is people say, well, Chris, look, I've been trying to create this success for 30 years, man. I've been trying for 20 years. I've been trying for 50 years. And I know the common denominator is me, right? They say, I'm the common denominator. And they say, yeah, I've been trying to lose the weight my whole life. I've been trying to be confident my whole life. I've been trying to be successful with money my whole life. I'm the common denominator, Chris. It's me. And then society backs up this belief. It says, yes, it's you. You need to have this pill or do this thing or it's you. And so the whole society backs this up. And so we go, right. We make a really smart decision. We say, I'm going to work on myself. Who's done this? I'm going to work on myself. However, by the nature of going and working on yourself, what is the silent instruction that you're giving yourself? The silent instruction is, I'm not good enough as I am, and I've got to fix myself. So what does that do? It reinforces the identity that you're not enough. And so it becomes this life focus of having to keep on trying to improve or fix or heal. Does this make sense? Give me a yes if you get it. And you guys know this. So you spend 20, 30, 50, 60 years just working on yourself. Next thing, next book, all these things, trying to somehow overcome ways you feel incomplete, not worthy, not good enough, incapable, insignificant, not perfect, trying to overcome all of that in a misguided idea that if you finally do it enough, then you could actually just move towards what you want. And unfortunately, it's just not true. The premise doesn't actually hold. Okay, the premise doesn't actually hold. The truth is it's not you. What's the truth? What's the real common denominator? The real common denominator is the structure that you're in. See, the structure of our society says, I'm going to create something better. Now is not enough. You see, and I can't have what I want until I do this or until I have this. And it's just not true. It's just not true. So many teachers would disagree with me. They're invested in this idea of working on yourself or fixing yourself. Hey, just quickly, could you guys give me a thumbs up or a share or a comment if this is resonating with you? Because to me, this is the most important information that we've got to hear. There's all these teachers that say, you got to work on yourself. But what have they really created in life? I'll go to a retreat or I'll see them work and I'll see them coaching, I'll see them doing things, and they're overweight. They don't have a great relationship. They don't have money. They don't have a huge following. And there they are telling me about how I've got to do self-healing. It's just ridiculous. See, the only thing they learned how to do was to just keep on healing and healing and healing. I even get some people tell me, but Chris, isn't life about forgiveness and finding yourself? No, life's about creation. Life's about creating. You're born in the image of the Creator. We're here to create. We're here to make and choose what we want. See, that there's this narrative fallacy that says we have to narrate, we have to fix the past, this whole situation. And the truth is, these teachers have simply been told this. Right? They enjoy it. It feels good, by the way, to create a narrative. Oh, I know why I can't have the money. It's because my parents, or it's because of my past life, or my Akashic records, or it's because of this trauma or that trauma, or it's because of this. And we create a narrative. Who's done this? Give me a yes if you have. We create a narrative. Right? And then this narrative becomes a thing we have to resolve in order to have it. But when we look at really successful people, we find they did not have to fix themselves in order to create the success they want. I mean, Lincoln was depressed. He was depressed. He changed the world, changed the world. Like Winston Churchill, who basically won the Second World War, just wasn't a nice guy, had a drinking problem, he was overweight, all these things, but he created. Mariah Carey said, I've always had really low self-esteem. You see, David Bowie said, I have enormous self-image problems. Like, we have business icons like Ray Kroc from McDonald's and General Saunders from KFC, who clearly didn't go and fix themselves. Elon Musk, Zuck, Trump, lots of people, they just focus on what they want to create. Does this make sense? And I'm not trying to say that any of these people are good or bad or whatever. I'm just letting you know that they didn't try to fix themselves. You think about like Helen Keller, blind and deaf, wrote books we still know about her, Steve Jobs, J.K. Rowling. And it doesn't matter, male, white, female, black, Asian, whatever it is, doesn't matter who you are. This is the truth. And I want you guys just to hear this. This is just the truth. This is just the straight up truth. You cannot fix yourself to success. You're not broken. And you can have everything. Someone asked me, are you real? You can have every single thing that you want to create, and you can do it just as you are. Who thinks that's a pretty great concept? You can be just as you are and have everything you want. You've just got to remember a new structure. Does that make sense? You've just got to get into a new structure. Lady Gaga cries sometimes before going on stage because she still feels inadequate. But that hasn't stopped her trying, hasn't stopped her, rather, creating a humongous amount of success. Imagine if she had to go over here and fix herself, spent all this time in therapy. Maybe she wouldn't have created, this amazing movement and helping all these people. Does that make sense? She accepts it. It's who she is. And it's been since the 1960s we've had this belief idea, okay? And just to really cap it off, so you truly get this structure, this, I'm going to fix my identity by creating an ideal life, okay? The core message, the core quote for this whole way of thinking, the core quote of this whole way of thinking is this. It's this. Henry Ford said, I think, if you think you can and you think you can't, you're right. And that statement seems really true. It seems really nice and it doesn't seem like a problem. I want to let you know that statement is a big problem. Let me ask you, have you ever thought you could do something, you went for it, and then you couldn't? This is called failure, right? Failure is the way to success. Have you ever thought you couldn't do something and then you could? You see? So this idea of I have to think I can, but in order to ensure that I can it's just improbable and it's just ridiculous. There are lots and lots and lots of moments in your life where you haven't thought that you can, and then guess what? You did it. You surprised yourself. Is it true? Type in a true if it's true. And there's times like, yeah, I'm going to be able to do that. That's going to happen. And then it doesn't. And so then you think, well, maybe that statement makes us believe that we then need to go and have our beliefs in the right order. Does that make sense? I've got to think right. I've got to always believe. If I don't believe, I can't have it, right? Wayne Dyer wrote a book, when you believe it, you will see it. It's not true. When you be it, you will see it. And so this whole premise of needing to fix yourself is just not true, okay? So that's one way of looking at the world, okay? And the way of looking at the world that way is the victim, the ideal versus identity world. It's actually a victim reaction consciousness. It says, I can't have it and I can't enjoy my life until I have this. You see, do you see that structure? If I have this, then my life will be better. If I don't have this, then it'll be worse. So I've got to work on myself to become someone else because I'm not enough. I'm not valid in my own way. And this is just birth, the whole therapy movement, this whole work on yourself, develop yourself movement. And guess what? Anything you do in that structure of trying to fix or heal yourself just reinforces the notion or idea that you need to fix yourself. Does that make sense? Anything you do in there, that structure becomes stronger because of the silent instructions you give yourself. And I get messages from other coaches all the time, and they feel guilty because all they've done is tell people that they got to fix themselves. And all it does is get people more worked into a situation that they're not good enough the way that they are. They can't have what they desire now, and they stay in this really bad situation. But there's a different option. And the different option is called the creative structure. And the creative structure is where you already are whole. You arrive whole. There's nothing you need to change about you. Does this make sense? The magnetic moment is when you already are it, okay? Then from that place, you're able to create what you love, knowing it won't change you or improve you. So I want you to get this. There's nothing you can't have right now. Nothing you can't have right now. Not money, not abundance, not status, not respect, not love, not joy. It's nothing. So people say to me, but Chris, I can't have abundance right now, brother. You haven't seen my bank account. Guys, if you can't find abundance in 2020 with free Wi-Fi, access to Wikipedia and all the information that we have, if you can't find abundance in a walk on the beach, in some clean drinking water in a public, like if you can't find abundance there, you haven't realized that 150 years ago they couldn't even dream about the abundance we could have for free. Is it true? You can't find abundance in a picnic with a bottle of $5 cheap wine and a $15 total cost picnic with someone you love. If you can't find love and connection in that, you won't find it in a $600 meal with a tablecloth and a French champagne. You just won't. Does that make sense? If you can't find true health in a body that is functioning. Now, people say, Chris, I got a diagnosis. I got this diagnosis. And I always say, if you can't find health now, right? If you can't realize your eyes are healthy or your tongue is healthy or your lungs are healthy or your digestion is healthy, if you can't see the 95% of places you are in health, right? And you're only focusing on the 5% of dis-ease, dis-health, then you'll continue to be it. Does this make sense? Give me a big yes if you get that. If you're here live, give me a yes. If you're watching the replay, I know you can't, but just really hear that, get it. Same with relationships or success or anything. If you can't find it now, you won't find it in a future moment. Does that make sense? And Viktor Frankl talks about this in Man's Search for Meaning. If you can't find it now, if you can't overcome the moment now, if you can't be the creative force now, then unfortunately you're a victim. And many people are a victim to their goals. If I have this, then I'll be happy. And if I don't have this, then I'm not worthy. Does this make sense? That they've put their power outside of them. The power is outside of them. They're saying it's, if I have a great relationship with my kid, then I'm a good mom. And if I have a great relationship with my partner, then I'm lovable, right? Instead of going, I am lovable and I choose to have a relationship, you see, or I'm loved. Does this make sense? They've got it round the wrong way. And because of that, they're locked into this old paradigm. So the first step that we work with people is we get them to really understand and accept and allow themselves to have it all now. From a place of having it all now, we then choose to create what we love. We then choose to create what we love. And an experiment is I always ask people, if you had all the money in the world right now, money was no object, and you weren't allowed to give the money away. You can't give the money away. Just all your needs are met. All your needs are met. That's it. Just all your needs are met. You have a house, you have money, you have food, and it's guaranteed for the rest of your life, right? Your needs are met, right? You have a car's paid for, many cars as you want your whole life, gas is paid. What do you do? What do you create? And that's the thing, is we've got to ask ourselves, what do we create when I have it all now, right? You have a love of your life, you have the relationship, you have it all. See, and it's such a foreign idea to most of us because the only way we've ever created before was out of not having it. Does that make sense? And that's the wrong orientation. So we shift into it. So we're going to do a bit of an exercise in a second. Who wants to do some work on this? I think it's a very important thing to do some work on. So you must shift into that creative orientation. And the way to do that is through coaching. The way to do that is through coaching. And so just before I go into this process, you must have a coach if you want to get to where you want fast, but it must be a coach that understands structure. Okay. It cannot be a life coach that wants to give you advice. It cannot be someone who tries to reinforce how you're broken or spend a decade going through your life trying to fix the past, which is already being done. It can't be that sort of person. See, a coach's job is one and one only, and that is to keep your focus on what matters most. Okay. Focus creates your structure. Structure creates your reality. A coach's job is to keep your focus on what matters most. That's it. And your focus is what creates. See? And so, I coach a billionaire. I coach a billionaire. I coach sports people, and I coach over 840 people in our group training program. And do you know what? I can coach all of them because every single outcome that someone wants to create is structural. It's a structure. And once you understand the structure of creation rather than the structure of problem solving, the structure of oscillation, it's very easy. When you're in the right structure, it takes about 12 months for someone to orientate to the new structure, but it just flows. Okay. So sometimes it's a bit of a difficult concept. Okay. But the things are the same. Okay. The things are the same. So for example, all the elements are the same. It's just structured differently. Okay. So water can only flow downhill and in alignment with its riverbanks. If it wants to go a different way, it has to break the riverbanks. It has to break the structure. Okay. Now, if we take wood as the element, okay, wood, we can turn into a rocking chair. Okay. If it's a rocking chair, it doesn't matter how motivated you are, you go back and forward. But that same wood, we could break the chair apart and we could turn it into a fence. The fence won't move. Does that make sense? We could then take that fence and we could turn it into a skateboard or a snowboard. We could turn it into something that's just going to move. We could turn it into a baseball bat and we could throw that baseball bat and it would move forward. Does that make sense? Same ingredients, different structure. So when we restructure your life, you'll have the same ingredients. You'll still have a current reality, a future reality. You'll still have an identity. You'll still have an action to take. You'll still have an end result. You'll still have family. You'll still have these things, but you'll structure them in a forward-focused way. So I want you to get this, write this down. My focus creates my structure. My structure creates my reality. My coach's job is to make sure I have the focus on my true end results. Okay, on my true end results. Here is not what a coach is supposed to be. One of the things that annoys me is this idea of a life coach who gives someone else advice about their life. That is just not what a coach does. A coach should be completely impartial and be able to go into people's end results and say, what are you focusing on? Does that make sense? What are you focusing on right now? Are you focusing on how this may, and I'm going to help you understand your focus in just a second. So let me ask you a big question to jump into this exercise. What is the one thing you would love to create in your life more than anything else? What is the one thing, one, not two, what is the one thing that you would love to create more than anything in your life? What is that? What is that one thing? And I just want you to have one thing. One thing. We're going to do an exercise, so make sure you write this down or type it in. What is the one thing that you would love to create more than anything in your life? Yeah. Happy family, lots of money. Nice. Okay. So type in a number 1 if you're here live, if you've done it, so I can just get timing. Cool. What is the one thing you would love more than anything? Okay, thank you. Got it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to step into that one thing and we're going to experience it just from your heart. We're going to experience it 100% from your heart, how it feels, what it's like to be in it, and just experience it when you're there with just love. Okay, this is step 2 of the process. Okay, so what I'll have you do now is just close your eyes and go into that one thing you would love more than anything. And I just want you to feel it with your whole heart. Just experience it. What's it like when you're living this one thing? Just experience, step into it, experience it. Feels so good. Just step into your one thing and just love it. How do you act when you're doing this one thing? What have you got? What does it feel like? Step into this end result from your heart. Oh, that's so good. It feels so good. Okay. And then when you're done, just open your eyes and come back, okay? You don't need to do anything, but let me know when you're back just for timing if you're here live. Hey, Anne. Nice to see you. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Leonard. Hey, Robin. Hey, Rob. Hey, Gabrielle. Nice. All right, cool. So just let me know when you're back. Great to have you back if you are back. Okay. So we're going to step into the next thing. By the way, how did that feel? I bet you it felt pretty good, hey? Felt pretty good just stepping into the one thing you would love more than anything with your heart. And how important is it to have that, to be that, to live that? It's pretty important, right? Yeah, the most important. The most important. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to step into the same end result. Okay, the exact same end result, but this time, instead of witnessing it from your heart, I'm going to have you witness it from your identity. Okay, your identity that believes that having that will be better. And I want you to notice what your identity, your ego, your self-consciousness thinks about this end result. Okay, I just want you to notice what it thinks. And because the self identity believes that it's got to change to have this. There's lots anyway. Let's step into the same end result, but from a different perspective. Instead of from your heart, from your identity. Okay, so close your eyes, step into the same end result, the one thing you'd love more than anything in the world, but this time view it from your identity and what it means to you as a person. And just want you to feel how that feels when you make it about you. That's it. Step into that end result, have it, notice it, and feel it from the perspective of your identity, what it means to you. What it means to you. Yeah. Just allow yourself to feel that, notice what it's like from your identity, and when you've really got it, you can open your eyes and come back. Great. So what's it like when you view it from your identity, from the part of you that believes it means something to you? Yeah, it felt small. Right. Worried. Very different. Yeah. Yeah, focus was on other people. Isn't that interesting? Huge difference. What did you experience by noticing this from your identity? What's different? It's very interesting to notice what's different. Yeah. Let me know and write it down about what's different when you view it from your identity. Yeah, you're worried about failure. See, we can have the same end result and we can view it from two different places. Does that make sense? You can view it from two different places. You can view it from just having it and loving it, or you can view it about what it means to you as a person. Now, most of society is making it about what it means to them as a person, and therefore they've got to fix themselves, right? Feel it. Yeah, look, you guys are typing in feelings of unworthiness, not enough. Now, isn't it interesting? Let me know. Isn't it interesting the difference between the two? I didn't give you any other instructions other than view the same end result, the one thing you would love more than anything. One, view it from just your heart, just having it, and then one, view it from how you're making it about yourself. Now, it's really interesting, and that allows you to experience the two different structures. So when you're making it, when you feel into it with just your heart, how does it feel? What do you do? And whenever I ask this, when you feel into it with